Hey y'all, and welcome back to this episode where I'll be giving you a recap and my not so humble opinion of Love is Blind Season 4, Episode 6. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into why you really clicked on this video. So, Netflix released episode 6, 7, and 8 yesterday, and I watched them all back to back, and my emotions are all over the place. Everything happened. So, episode 6, the couples are all packed up and ready to leave Mexico, and it's 21 days until the weddings. Irina says if she finds herself thinking about Zach weeks from now, then she will reach out to him, and she hopes that he wouldn't have moved on by then, but she just couldn't get over the uncomfortable feeling that she had whenever she was around him. Okay, Irina, fair enough. You aren't forced to be with someone that you aren't attracted to, and the way you treated him wasn't the best, but you have to do what's best for you, and you did that. It was really bitchy the way that you handled things, but it's your life, I guess. So the couples, Brett and Tiffany, Marshall and Jacquelina, Paul and Micah, Kwame and Chelsea, move into their shared apartment, and I am ready. When I saw this, I was like, okay, this is when the drama begins. Whenever they move into the apartments, this is when everything starts. Meanwhile, Zach and Bliss are at the restaurant. If you remember, episode 5 ended with them meeting up at the restaurant. So they're there, and it must have taken Zach a lot to reach out to Bliss, so he's got some balls on him. And he tells Bliss that he made a mistake, and Bliss asks him how his honeymoon was with his new fiance, and Zach tells her that it was terrible and he kept thinking about her the whole time, and that he knows that Bliss is the woman that he's been looking for. Bliss says that it's annoying to hear Zach backtracking because, they had a really, really strong connection in the pods, and it was just the way he broke up with her for Irina, of all people, was just shocking. And now to sit in front of him and hear him tell you that everything you told him is true, it's just, I can understand why she was so annoyed. Well, Zach understands, and he claims that he knew that he made a mistake the minute he stepped out of the pod after breaking up with her. And then Bliss says, okay, but you still proposed to her. And that's a good point. I think Zach has to be honest. He didn't know that he made a mistake when he stepped out of the pods. He was heartbroken because he loved both of them, but he felt that he wanted to be with Irina and that Irina was the person for him. It's only when he saw Irina cringe and be totally repelled by him that he started realizing that he made a mistake. Because throughout the honeymoon, he was still telling her that he loves her, he sees that they could have a future if she would invest. So things would have really gone differently if Irina, switched up and tried with Zach. So he just has to be honest about those things to Bliss. She deserves that at least. So, while they're chatting, the conversation gets a little bit lighthearted. Bliss says that, Zach says that Bliss has beautiful eyes, and Bliss says, well, you do too, but I don't want to pay you any compliments right now. Zach asks Bliss if she finds his eye contact to be too much. Oh my gosh, I felt so sorry for him. The way Irina treated him is really so shit. He's second guessing himself. Like, he feels like a creep at this point because Irina couldn't stand it when Zach looked at her, and yeah, so he's just doubting himself. And Bliss is like, no, why am I looking away? These two, I love them. So they talk a little bit more about the experiment and their expectations when they were going in. Zach said he knew that there was potential, but he didn't think that he was really gonna fall in love. And yeah, they're just chatting and the eye contact between them. I mean, look at this, Zach. Look what you missed out on. Look at this. So Bliss missed out on that amazing vacation in Mexico. For what? For what? You owe her big time. Well, Zach thinks that regardless of what will happen between them and where, things go, he thinks that they were meant to meet each other. And Bliss says, yeah, she certainly agrees. So yeah, they finish eating and it's time to leave. And Zach is so goofy. So they get up and they're walking towards the door. They're leaving the restaurant. And Zach asks Bliss, do you want to walk to the door? He's so nervous. Okay, next up, Kwame and Chelsea are home having takeout. And they're both feeling grown up. They feel like, this fiance title, them having their own apartment, eating takeout at home together. They are grown. Chelsea asks how he feels about cleaning, and Kwame says it's easy enough, like, picking up after himself. And Chelsea asks if he knows how to use a vacuum cleaner. And he says, it's easy enough. You just turn it off and move it around the floor. I think this is a glimpse at how controlling Chelsea can be. I just feel that about her sometimes. But we'll see. So they talk about dishes, and Chelsea does not want to compromise. She says that she hates sleeping with a dirty kitchen and that dishes should be clean before they go to sleep, and she's being like super pedantic about the whole thing. And Kwame says, listen, you are worried about the wrong things. You need to worry about flushing the toilet after you pee. How embarrassing. She doesn't flush, so she goes and pees and then just leaves it there for whoever's gonna use the toilet next. Okay, we move on to Paul and Micah, and they're sitting on the couch and chatting, and then Micah tells Paul that something really awkward happened, that before they got on the plane to head back home, Irina told Micah that she has an attraction to Paul. Girl, Irina is messy. Irina is so messy. She has no boundaries. She's not aware of anything. So Micah wants to know what Paul thinks, because Irina saying that has her second guessing the connection that her and Paul have. She's thinking, well, is there something between them? Why would Irina feel strongly about this? Well, strongly enough to actually tell me about it, I'd feel the same for sure. So Paul says that, yeah, actually at the pool party, Irina had been weird and handsy and flirtatious towards him, and he found it kind of annoying and just thought, well, maybe he's overthinking it because Zach was right next to them. He also says that he has no desire whatsoever for Irina. Micah says that she thought it was weird how Irina ended it with Zach and then immediately jumped on to her best friend's fiance. I think they're throwing this best friend term around quite loosely. You guys just met. You're not best friends, but I get her point. So I'm looking at Micah and I'm like, okay, girl, I see something different in you. The other girls had pointed it out in one of the earlier episodes, I don't remember which one, where they said that Micah is different when she's not with Irina. But you've got to be your own person. I mean, for you to be able to switch up from super bitchy to super nice, I don't know what that really says about you as a person, Micah. I see a little bit of a change in her, but I'm also doubtful because why is she only turning around when the meanness or bitchiness or ill intent is directed at her? So I don't know how genuine she is, because for me, she's just defending herself, which most people would do. I think everybody would do, but I don't think she's showing her true character as being, a good person. Because if Irina didn't make those comments about Paul, I don't think she would have changed her actions towards people like Zach. She does bring up Zach, and she says she feels bad for, making fun of him and laughing at him and all of that stuff with Irina, because he's actually a nice person. Whatever, Micah. Next up, Jackie and Marshall are in their apartment, and Marshall feels like he's been transported back to 1972, because why does Jacqueline want to bring her lava lamp to their apartment? Well, they look cute together, they look happy, and Marshall says that he's told his family that he's engaged, and Jacqueline says she told her parents, but they were shocked. She says that they said, this isn't Jackie. This isn't Jackie. This is another red flag. Who are you? Why are your parents so certain that marriage and settling down with one person is not for you? Your parents. Brett and Tiffany are in their apartment. Brett is kind of messy and he leaves a puddle on the floor whenever he gets out of the shower. Actually, I have this habit as well. I mean, I don't understand what you're supposed to do. Are you meant to mop the floor every time you get out of the shower? I have a mat and, I don't have a shower curtain, so yeah, water splashes everywhere and I don't see myself mopping my bathroom floor every time I get out of the shower. Maybe that's something I have to change about myself, but I'm guilty. I'm Brit. It's the next morning and Micah and Paul are having coffee on the balcony. Micah laughs about Paul's moaning the night before. They consummated their engagement the night before. I think the little talk on the couch and Paul reassuring Micah and all of those things just brought them close. Yeah, so they got intimate last night. They're on the balcony now playing footsie together, looking all cute. And Paul asks Micah what her plans are for the day. And she says that actually today she's going to meet up with Irina so that they can have a chat. And Paul says that, that's going to be quite awkward. And he is going to go and meet up with Zach. Chelsea and Kwame are at Chelsea's apartment. Chelsea. And everything is pink. There is pink everywhere. Neon pink, bubblegum pink, pastel pink. All the kinds of pink that there are in Chelsea's apartment. Her apartment looks like a teenage girl's dorm room. It's not cute at all. Well, Kwame even asks her, what's up with all the pink? I mean, you can like pink, but you don't have to be obsessed with pink. It's like Chelsea buys things because they are pink, not because she likes it and it happens to be pink, which she likes as well. No, if it's pink, she's buying it. So she says that, she lived with her boyfriend. Was it her fiance? I don't remember. She lived with a significant partner of hers in the past, and he was really controlling about how she decorated their shared space. And whenever she left the relationship, she just felt free and that she could do her thing. I'd also be controlling if this is what you were trying to do. If you were trying to decorate your shared space the way that you've decorated this dorm room that you call your grown woman apartment, I would have also put restrictions on that. It's too much, especially for a man. I know it's kind of sexist to say that, but you have to see the room to really understand that I don't think many grown men would be comfortable living like that. Tiffany takes Brett to meet her friends, and Bree, one of Tiffany's friends, asks why he chose Tiffany. If your friends are a reflection of who you are, I was right about Tiffany all along. She is just a genuinely good person. The way Tiffany's friends treated Brett is just amazing. They don't know him. They don't know his intentions. He could be a bad guy. They don't know anything about him, but they were open, they had open arms because they want good things for Tiffany and they want this to work for her. Brett could be a serial killer for all we know, and he'll show his true colors down the line, but the way her friends approached meeting him for the first time was just so beautiful to me. Well, Brett answers and he says she seemed genuine about him and she was really interested in him and also wants him to be the best version of himself, and he could feel that through the pods. And I agree about this with Tiffany, and so do her friends. So they talk about when they first met each other in real life, like saw each other, and Brett says he was blown away by how beautiful she is and just couldn't understand how she's so beautiful inside and then also looks the way that she looks. Yeah, Brett, you hit the jackpot. You've got a good one by your side. So while they're talking, Brett drops the love bomb out. He says, I love you, right there in front. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I think meeting her friends, he felt comfortable. Guys, this is something. This is truly true. These people don't know each other. They just met. They just met weeks ago. It's truly great to see this kind of friendship, care, love, genuineness among people. So Tiffany and her friends are great. Brett is great and he's in good hands. I hope Brett's family and friends are going to be as welcoming to Tiffany. Paul and Zach are together, and Zach asks what Paul loves about Micah. He says that the way that he and Micah see the world and tackle difficult things is the same. So he likes that about her. Their brains work the same way. And then he also likes that she brings him joy. He says he is overly analytical and he loves the way, Micah doesn't overthink things and all of that good stuff. And Zach says he really sees the connection between them and he thinks Micah would truly follow Zach anyway. And, to see Zach before their relationship and say all these good things about Micah after how Irina and Micah treated him before, it just speaks to the character that is Zach. Paul asks about Bliss, and Zach says the chemistry between them is crazy and that he felt something completely different with her because she's the full package. She is it for him. And I agree, Zach. And he talks about marriage. I love the way that he sees marriage and choosing a life partner. He says that, at some point you have to make a choice. We all have things that we're looking for in a significant other. And at some point and at a certain age, you need to really look at what you're giving up if you keep on jumping from relationship to relationship, if you keep giving up on people's potential, and you have to make a choice for the person that fits you the best and stick with it. Irina and Micah meet up, and Irina walks in. She's like, "Hey, bitch." Oh gosh, Irina's annoying as hell. So, Micah's like, "How are you?" Irina skips past that and says, "How are you and Paul?" And have you met Paul's family? She just wants to know about how things are going. And also asks her if they've started wedding planning. So, Micah just, answers those questions and then moves right into it and says that she wants to talk about the Mexico trip and how it ended. And that Irina's actions put her in a negative headspace, knowing the things that Irina did behind her back with Paul. Micah says that she's been Irina's lifeline to all the girls. It's true. Micah was the only person that would give Irina the time of day. And she feels like she's just been a big fool if Irina would do what she's done. Well, Irina admits that the way that she moved is so sneaky, but she's still laughing about it, so she's not serious at all. Irina came to play in our faces. So Micah says the experiment is not about meeting someone and seeing them and being attracted to their physical. It's about what's inside. And for her to not have had a connection with Paul in the pods and then suddenly want to shoot her shot is just wild to her. And she feels that Irina having strong enough feelings enough to actually approach her and tell her that, listen, I have a thing for your fiance, made her wonder if she was missing anything. And she doesn't want someone that she considers a friend to create so much doubt in her relationship. So Irina says that, oh, you don't have to worry about how Paul and I feel about each other because he doesn't want to talk to me, he doesn't want to see me. And Micah says, girl, I could give 2 fucks about that because I know he's not interested in you. Irina was shocked. She was looking around like, oh my gosh, that was a blow to her. I love how Micah said that. Micah, whatever. It's 19 days before the weddings, and Marshall is in the kitchen making breakfast, and he is being so loud about it. So eventually he's banging on the pots and all of that wakes up Jacqueline. And yeah, Jacqueline is so impressed by Marshall's efforts and all of that. She was just amazed that someone would do something like this for her, or that her man would do something like this for her. Back at Chelsea and Kwame's place, Chelsea is trying to talk to Kwame and Kwame is off. And Chelsea asks, what's up? And he says that your anxiety is rubbing off on me. the vibe is totally off between them. And Chelsea says she's just nervous and she wants things to go well. Because Chelsea's dad is on his way, and yeah, she wants things to go well with this first meetup between, herself, Kwame, and her dad. Well, Kwame says that the more calm they are, then the more calm Chelsea's dad would be. Basically, he's echoing what he has said in the pods when he was talking to Micah, which is, positive vibes. Go to any situation thinking and feeling the best. Worrying about stuff doesn't help. So he says if they just keep worrying, everything is going to go downhill. And Chelsea makes a comment about him lecturing her, and he says, well, baby, I don't compare to how much you lecture. And I can believe that, because I think Chelsea's really controlling. If you go back to the episode when they met, the big reveal, and Kwame was getting ready to propose to her, and Chelsea was like, oh, don't you think you should get on one knee? Oh, do it like this, do it like... She's controlling. Well, yeah, Kwame says Chelsea shouldn't worry because he's the one that has to do the impressing. And Chelsea doesn't want to be left out of the chaos. And she says, no, it's about both of them. Kwame is so annoyed, and eventually he just says, okay, you want to be right so bad? Then okay, we need to be here and just worry ourselves to death, I guess. I mean, this isn't good. And in the episodes to follow, I just think this isn't a good match for these two. I mean, these are fundamental things, I think. And if you are a really, really positive person and you're paired with a really negative person, those extremes are too much. Kwame likes to present himself as this fun-loving, free person, get up and go, up for new experiences, and Chelsea is really the opposite. Chelsea's bringing out, the worst side of Kwame, the way I see it. And ding, the doorbell rings. Chelsea's dad is at the door, and Chelsea gets an instant headache. That brings us to the end of episode 6. If you liked listening to this recap, hit the subscribe button and tune in for more.